And good morning, everybody, here on a rainy, breezy weekend here in Cape Cod, and we're continuing to watch the remnants of Danny work its way on off toward the north. We've got a wet afternoon and a wet night. We'll let you know how much rain we're going to get and when it's all going to be over. Stick around for a live report.
We're tracking what's left of Danny on Weekend Now, and the other front that is making for another miserable Saturday in the northeast corridor.
And welcome back to Weekend Now. You can see what is left of Danny now lifting up and along the coast. A lot of wet weather for New England today. Some very heavy rain over the next 24 hours or so. That is going to be moving out, though, tomorrow.
Yeah, unfortunately, you've had numerous weekends here throughout the northeast where you've had some very wet conditions. It looks like this weekend again is just joining some of those numerous weekends that we've had this entire summer of wet weather.
And we want to bring in our storm tracker Jim Cantore. He is live now on the Cape in Chatham, Mass. And Jim, pretty interesting. You said it's been cool, and we've gotten some rain moving in over top of that cool air, and you're actually getting just a little bit of warming from above. Yeah. Sometimes when you have that low-level, cool, dense air, which is kind of wedged underneath, especially in the wintertime, we see this happen. When you still have a northeast wind, sometimes you can get so much warming aloft coming down in the precipitation that's how you actually get your warm-up. So it's kind of a tricky forecast, especially with like freezing rain. When do you break out of that freezing rain? Is it going to be, as the supply of the cold air weakens, or is it going to come from above? And that's the trick. That's the trick in the forecast. Hey, Carl and Heather, neat little thing here I want to show you. The wind is coming right at me this way, all right? So it's coming generally off to the east. But you'll notice the boats behind me here, if you will, from bow to stern, are facing in a whole different direction. And so they're actually kind of sitting with the current as the tide is now out. So that's where that's what's pretty much pointing them in the direction that they're in. It's not the fact that the wind is strong enough. If it was stronger, it could overcompensate the current. But in this case, since we don't have a strong enough wind, it's actually flowing more with the current of the water as opposed to the actual wind, where you see the boat sitting above the water. It would be freely, especially in sustained winds of about 25 to 30 miles an hour, overtake that current. So I kind of found that pretty neat, just looking at the boats that are moored out here, the beautiful fishing boats, and the livelihood of much of New England here on the coastline. All right, let's show you what's going on here on the radar. You can certainly see we got some flash flood issues, flash flood watches posted across much of southern New England, especially the Cape and the islands. The good news is our flash flood guidance. In other words, what does it take rainfall-wise to flood in a certain period of time, whether it be 1 hour, 3 hours, or 6 hours. And the thing that I'm most concerned about in an event like this is a 1 hour rainfall rate. And the rainfall rates on the Cape are about 2 inches an hour now. So until we get into that kind of rainfall rate, we're not worried about it. Two reasons: because it's been dry lately, and number two, the soil type is also one that would actually allow more rain to come on through and through here. But you can see we have plenty offshore. Look at the storm total precipitation. Nice thing about Doppler radar, folks, we can actually ask it to do different things for us. Look at the wind field. Look at the storms and see if they have hail. Look at the rainfall rates 1 hourly and actually add the precipitation up in a cumulative form. And that's the phase of the radar that you're looking at right now. And you can see offshore, especially, Carl and Heather, the huge rainfall that we've had out there. And it is in the tune of about 4 or even 5 inches in some spots. And it's believable. It's totally believable, because most of that heavy rain has been offshore for a good part of the early morning hours and really today. It is just now we're seeing the rain come up into Connecticut, all the way up through Rhode Island, now into the south shore of Boston, and even west into Worcester County. So plenty of rain. It's been on the Cape, and we've probably had a couple of inches or over an inch of rain, as you can see from the estimates in through here. As we take a look at some of the pictures of the boats, again, kind of a beautiful sight. As rainy and as miserable as I'm telling you it is out here, from a personal standpoint, it is kind of, if you will, Currier and Ives-esque to look out over the boats and kind of see them just kind of hanging out there in the ocean. So it's kind of a nice scene. A lot of people have actually come out and kind of gawked at it all throughout the morning. So rainfall, guys, is going to be heavy. We could still see another 2 to 3 inches of rain possibly, especially across southeastern New England. So as we go later on today, we may very well be keeping an eye on a flash flood risk. Carl and Heather, back to you.
Well, and of course, last weekend with Bill, we were so concerned about the surf, and of course we had that terrible accident with a 7-year-old girl off the coast of Maine. Yeah. Have people been coming up to you, Jim, and asking you, what are the waves going to be like with this system?
Yeah, yesterday when we were at Orleans, Massachusetts, which is Nauset Beach up the road, they were asking there, saying, oh, these waves aren't bad at all. But you know what? The rip current risk is still there. As evidenced yesterday, we had, I believe, a young boy who has not been found off the North Carolina coast as a result. And even the Virginia Beach area, I have heard, we also have had individuals that have not made it back, if you will, and they actually watched them out on a boogie board, and then they just disappeared. So what I think is helping us today, guys, is the fact that we have the rain. Last weekend, remember, we had the waves, but we also had the sunshine. Today, we don't have half the waves, but we have the rain. And I think that's going to keep more people away than not. So that's helping us.
All right, thank you, Jim. And that is so true, because there were so many people out last weekend, you know, just trying to catch a glimpse of what was happening with Bill.
It's fascinating when you see big waves like that, but you see what happens. So not a lot of folks going out to the beaches anytime soon here. We've got plenty of rain that is coming down across the Northeast today. It's going to be a really wet day in this region. All kinds of wet weather, especially as you get up into that New England corridor, the 95 corridor there. Spotty showers farther westward with this front as it moves through later today. And there may be some thunder, maybe some severe weather as it comes on through. Now, by tomorrow, there could be lingering showers right along the coast here, again up and down 95 and back down into North Carolina. We will see some cooling and drying in the wake of that boundary, maybe still a few showers with an upper level low that's coming through here in parts of New York and also northwest Pennsylvania. Boundary continues to press on through, but the southern end of the boundary is going to camp out down through parts of the southeast. That's going to keep things wet in Virginia and the Carolinas and a good part of the southeast right into Tuesday, as a matter of fact, but you will clear out very nicely here in the northeast as we go back to work, and temperatures getting a little bit cooler as well. Heather?